take money for granted. We earn it or scrunch it from our parents and happily spend it. But how come these coins, banknotes and plastic cards work? Where did money come from? Before money was invented, people would give their time or goods that hunted or gathered to their tribe, friends and family without asking for anything in return. There was an unspoken expectation that these people would help you out later. In New Zealand, Māori called this koha. When barter or swapping did happen, it was usually either with complete strangers or sometimes even people who would otherwise be your enemies. With barter, an individual who possessed something of value, like grain, could exchange that possession for another person's possession thought to be of equal value, like a clay pot or a tool. Barter has several problems. The main one is that it requires a double coincidence of wants. Say, for example, a wheat farmer wants fruit from a fruit farmer, but a direct swap is not possible because the fruit ripens months before grain, and the fruit would rot before the grain grew. A solution is to trade the fruit for a commodity, something that doesn't rot and is demanded throughout the year, like gold or wine, which can then be exchanged for grain after the wheat is harvested. 5,000 years ago, the Mesopotamian society developed a huge economy based on commodity money, where people were happy to swap goods and services for shekels that could then be used to buy other goods and services. In Greece, the drachma was the basic unit of currency. Drachma is Greek for handful, and one drachma was worth one handful of grain. Many cultures around the world eventually developed the use of commodity money. Ancient China, Africa and India used cowrie shells. Trade in Japan's feudal system was based on the koku, a unit of rice. From early times, people preferred metals for money rather than cows or salt because metals were durable, portable and easily divisible. Gold has been used as money since 4000 BC, when the Egyptians used gold bars as a medium of exchange. Goldsmiths in England had been gold merchants and moneylenders since the 16th century. In exchange for deposits of gold, the goldsmiths would issue receipts, and these receipts were used by people to buy goods and services. This worked so well that banks began issuing paper notes called banknotes, which were very similar to today's money, except that each bank would issue their own banknotes. Gradually around the world, government banks took control of making their country's banknotes. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand has been the only issuer of banknotes in New Zealand since 1934. Cheques are very similar to money. They are essentially a note to a person's bank, telling the bank to give some of that person's money to someone else. Cheques were popular with consumers who didn't want to carry large sums of cash to buy things, and were convenient because they could be safely posted. However, cheques are no longer widely accepted by shops because the buyer may not have enough money in their bank account to cover the cheque. Banknotes and coins are also far less popular than they were, because most shops are able to use EFTPOS to take money straight from the buyer's bank account. Many people use credit cards for easy and convenient access to borrowing, and these are particularly popular for shopping online. In New Zealand, Visa debit cards are a new way for people to access their own money and shop online without the danger of getting into debt, because the cards only give access to people's own money, rather than borrowing from the credit card company. Visa debit cards are available to people once they turn 15, while a traditional credit card can only be obtained past the age of 18. Very soon, near-field technology and the e-wallet may render even plastic cards obsolete. Financial information and transactionability can be stored in an app on your mobile phone, which is automatically activated when you authorize a transaction in store. Many Starbucks customers in the US are already tapping OK next to the dollar amount that appears on their smartphones as they leave past the cash register. Money's come a long way since the crude early coins and goldsmith receipts, but still has the same qualities and functions that it's always had.
Who wants to be a millionaire? I don't. I've seen the future. I can't afford it.